In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to book higher qualified leads through the power of voice AI. I'm going to walk you through step by step through the exact AI automation that I created in order to leverage and get the most out of leads. I'll also be giving away the entire automation blueprint here live for you so that you'll also be able to save tens of hours per week between you and your appointment setters and get leads to pretty much qualify themselves before they book in a call with you. So let's get into it. We should also be getting a phone call in a minute. Okay, there we go.
Hi, Kat. This is Emma calling from AI Solutions. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for asking. I'm reaching out since you just filled out our contact form for an AI automation build. I understand it's going to be a big shift in the way your business operates, so I'm just wondering, what kind of AI automation would you like built?
I just want a simple chatbot built for my website.
Gotcha. A chatbot for your website sounds like a great idea. Can you tell me more about your business, like what needs to operate in and the amount of monthly revenue per month?
I do around 10K in the business and consulting niche.
Gotcha. Thanks for sharing that with me. We'll definitely look into this, and one of our agents will reach out to book in a call without in, as I'm unable to do that yet. I hope you enjoy working with us. We really appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, that's how it works. Now this is actually a outbound voice AI agent I've built. So there's two kinds of voice agents. It's either inbound or outbound. Inbound is obviously if someone calls a number, an AI picks up, and if it's outbound, which it is in this case, you would call a lead on the number that they have submitted on a Fillout form, which I'll get into later. But first of all, we have this top half. And in order to understand the power of this automation, I'm actually going to explain. We need to take a look at the sort of high-level overarching stuff, and a lot of it is very sales processy, and it's a lot about systems. It's a lot about the high-level design and architecture of a business. But it's very important to know before we actually get into the details of the automation. So, really quick, I'm sure you've already seen the demo of how this thing works. This is your average sales process. Now, you may have seen this before. But essentially what happens is you have your traffic, either from Instagram, LinkedIn, cold ads, whatever it is, and it feeds into two main things, either a main VSL in a landing page, or you can feed the customer a lead magnet. So maybe on a website you could have like a contact us section where the user can submit their application to work with you for your service. So mostly you'll see this all the time. You'll have emails, right? So you'll have your email collection. But what we want to be doing is, if you're only doing email, you might want to consider switching to both email and phone. This way we actually get the number that we can call, because we're actually going to be using an agent that calls. So we're going to need a phone instead of just an email. And then it shoots the lead off into a nurture process. So most likely you'll have any sort of lead magnets like a PDF, an ebook, or any form of value-based emails that you'll be giving to the prospect in order to sort of warm them up. This may include value-based emails, presenting case studies, and reiterating the pain points. So as they get closer and closer to the sales call at the end, they're going to be warmer and more informed, and then they can take the decision better. That is the old way. We have an additional contingency. The new way is actually to use voice AI to do this. Before people can just say, oh, I'll just get my setter to do it. Okay, cool. What if you had like thousands of people reaching out to you through your traffic, right? Then it gets pretty complicated. We need to have an automated system for nurture processes. So what I've built is sort of the first step of this process. This is why we're collecting phones. We're going to actually go ahead and send a personalized call to these prospects based on the information they filled out in the form. And you'll see how this works later. But we're going to be using phone, name, their business info, and any sort of custom requests they may have considering your service or your product. And you can actually, I haven't built this out yet, but you can actually sync this with your calendar service to actually book in a call. That's a whole other thing. We can just get rid of that for now. Right, so next we go on to CTA. Now, at one point you actually have them warm enough, and you can actually send them off to a hard CTA and say, hey, book in a call with me under this link. And then it starts off the pre-call flow. So you have pre-call SMS reminders. And if they don't show up, there's a whole other no-show process, which goes very similarly. And I have these markers here as well, similar to the positioning of the automation that I've built out on the left here, simply because you can actually also have automations that are placed here and here and here. Basically, after 24 hours, if they haven't rebooked a call for whatever reason, you can actually call the number back again and say, hey, are you still interested in our service? If they don't show, the same thing. If they don't show, exact same thing. If they do show up, but they actually are skeptical about the offer, they get cold feet or whatever, you can call them up and say, hey, look, here's the proof, here's whatever you need. What can we do to make this a closed win? And then if all that goes through, then you have a closed win. Congratulations. So you can see that the automation that I've built, the voice AI agent, is somewhere in keeping the lead warm, essentially. That you're always like top of mind with them, because people like apply. What people like to do is like apply for something, and then you already know that they've forgotten it like a day later, and then they forget to book in the call, and then emails are not nice. Emails, they go to spam. No one reads emails. If you have a phone, like an actual phone, you get a call, like what's the chances that you're not going to pick up, right? So this is really, really interesting when it comes to just the efficiency of things. And like, speaking of efficiency, we've got our funnel here, which is something that I took from Luke. His video is very nice if you watched it. So everything in what I've just described is a funnel, right? If we're losing like 5%, if we're losing like 5% from step 1 to step 2, like all the way here as well, we're always going to be losing people from like step to step, right? So like, it's going to be very important to make sure that you have something in place that bridges this gap, and make sure that all of your potential customers, they all go through the funnel like flawlessly, right? So let's say you've got like 100 people here. Using AI automations such as the one that I just described, we can actually get a number from, let's say if you're doing 5 right now, we can get the number all the way up to 20. And this is still a good jump, right? Like, most people don't even have an automated setting process from the first touch point, like I just shown you. They have no pre-call assets. They have no show-up reminders, no follow-ups, nothing like that. And it's very, very easy to come in and just set this up and basically, increase efficiency, because that's the goal of this business or any operation that you're running, is really to increase efficiency and just squeeze as much as you can from this top of funnel. So yeah, these are all parameters that you can tweak and optimize. Like, so all of these like arrows are things that you can optimize, right? You can look into the link between 2 steps, and you can see exactly how many people are bleeding through, and you can then put in an automation, or you can just plug and play an automation that helps you with bridging the gap, basically, and just keeping this not 100%, because theoretically that's going to be impossible, but very, very high. And your goal as a business owner is really to have all of these linked like super, super tight. And the way to do that, especially in today's day and age, is simply through AI automations. There's no way around it. Look, we're not driving traffic, right? We're not running paid ads. We're not doing anything to increase the top of funnel here. All we're doing is just basically adding fire to an existing flame. With these automations, you're going to be saving a lot of time. Basically, you're going to be able to buy back a lot of time and effort and costs on your part. And as you guys saw in VAPI, it basically takes like 10 cents, like 9 cents, not even 10 cents. It just takes 9 cents to place a call per minute. And this is much, much better than a setter who you're going to be paying thousands of dollars to every single month. And if you ask me, I don't know any setter that works 24/7 around the clock with like hundreds of leads on autopilot. So that's something really that like, it just blows your mind when you see it in action. So cost-effective lead nurturing, personalized outbound outreach, which previously is like unheard of before AI, and lead qualification is another big one. All of these problems, all of these minor issues that can be optimized, are optimized here using this automation. And this is really just a game changer. And by the way, this offer works in every brick and mortar business. If you're doing e-com or info, it works as well. If you're doing growth operations or IPO, or basically any sort of agency model, anything where you need to nurture leads and keep them warm, aka increase show-up rates, or plug leaks in your all the way from top of funnel to bottom of funnel. I don't know any like numbers on this just yet, but I guarantee you this will have a significant impact on the amount of volume that actually goes through like to the end, and the actual like cash collected at the end of your process. Now that we have that out the way, I'm going to go ahead and show you the exact automation sequence. This is how it looks like. If this looks familiar, it's actually from Liam's video. And if you're looking for templates to the make automations that I use, which I'll be demoing later on, they are also from 2 different videos. One's from Liam, one's from Yanis. I'll link them all below so you can follow along if you like. The automation sequence, the actual automation itself. So the sequence starts if someone fills out a submission on your contact form. This can be done through Typeform. I chose Fillout for this automation. Whenever someone enters their details through this Fillout form, they get added into the lead list, which triggers the first automation, which is to initiate the call. We want to call the person up, and we're going to be using VAPI to do this. And then once we've done that, the call can go either one of two ways. Now, we already have this information in the submission form. We can base whether or not they've qualified on different criteria. So for example, if the budget is below a certain number, which I've built in here as well, if the budget is below a certain number, you can actually say, no, I don't want to take you on. If they do end up qualifying, however, according to your needs, the second automation fires off. And if this is a automation that's more internal, we're going to call Calendly. We're going to get a link from them, and we're going to send a message in the Slack channel to your seller team saying that, hey, we have a new warm lead who's also qualified. So that's the important thing. This qualification process is huge, especially if you're dealing with large amounts of traffic. You really want to get the best of the best leads. So that's why this is very important. And the whole thing is personalized, obviously, because we have their information that they have filled out, so their personal pain points, their problems, and every single call is specific to the person, basically. This is something that you couldn't do before with a seller, or it would basically take ridiculous amounts of time and money. Now you can do the whole thing exponentially quicker through voice AI and all these cool automations. Post-call, we want to also be getting data. This is also something that's huge. Now, previously if you have setters or you're working with like SDRs, you can actually get them to fill out a form, and it's a whole messy process where you fill out a form, like call evaluation, like how did this go, how did that go. Now with AI, you can get the transcript like this, and you don't need to mess around with anything. You can just have the transcript, you can have length, you can have things like, you'll see in a minute, but you can have things like reason for end call and call duration, all that stuff, all that cool stuff that you can actually tangibly work with and take more informed decisions about your business. Is all tracked in a Google Sheet. Now we can go more in detail. We can go do like world map number tracking, which is basically like if you have a graph and it shows the world and you can like see where your leads are from or where you're calling the leads in which country. And you can also have OpenAI and GPT perform transcript analysis to see sort of the top 10, pain points that your prospects might have. Another cool feature about this automation is that you can actually do A/B testing with different phone numbers. So if you have 2 or more phone numbers, you can actually put them sort of head to head and see which one performs better based on their system prompts. Like you have one that has a slightly different system prompt compared to the other one, and you can actually call a list of 100 leads. Let's say 50 of them would go to number A, 50 of them would go to number B, and you can then see which voice assistant performs better depending on the KPIs that you get out. So really, really cool stuff. So let's get into the make automations. Okay, this is the first automation, which is basically capturing the form answers. We've got the Fillout form module here in the beginning, and this basically adds in all the information right here, adds in all the information into our Google Sheet. Now you can see phone number, first name, last name, status, which sets to not called as default because they've just filled it in, they've not been called yet. And here's the cool thing. Now, you can actually, there's a column I've added for qualification, and you can actually say if the answer to the budget question is less than 5,000, so you'll see the options in a minute, but if it's less than 5,000, you can actually go ahead and disqualify them, like right off the get-go. So that's the qualification part of it. The rest is just a lot of JSON and adding in assistant IDs, your VAPI API key, and your phone number ID. I'll link the template to this below as well. And it's a lot of JSON parsing as well towards the end. Here is the module that I've added. After the call gets set here, you can actually go ahead and update set call, which basically puts the value to call. That's the CRM know that phone number has been called. That's out of the way. And then we call Calendly and we get a scheduling link. We can actually create the Slack message here, which you'll see in a minute. New prospect qualified, and then the budget, and it uses the Calendly link that your team of setters can instantly just book in a call with a suitable time. This is the first automation, and we're going to go ahead and turn this on. Once a response is captured on the first module, it goes all the way to the end and executes this post API call, which goes to VAPI, and I'll show you my assistant right now. So this is the caller. There's a very simple prompting that I use. We have a first message called "Hi, first name. This is Emma from AI Solutions," greeting the user, all the standard stuff. This is the entire prompt. You can pause the video and take a look at it. It's fairly basic. It's got around 6 steps and 2 like extra additional steps. And what we want at the end is to send the information through a webhook to the CRM. So the agent basically goes ahead and asks the user, what kind of automation is it that you'd like to be building, and what your budget for this is, and what kind of revenue numbers you're doing. And based on that, you can actually go ahead and filter through applicants, and you can see which one is you'd like to work with, basically. So this is really, really huge when it comes to qualifying your leads. So yeah, this is it. If you go to the advanced section, you can actually go down and set the server URL, which will be the make.com webhook. And this is actually from the second automation, which looks a bit like this. So you've got your webhook. This is where all the data from the call comes in once it's finished. You've got transcript, end of call report, and all that stuff. And it comes into our CRM. We're going to search rows first. So we're going to make sure that we're actually changing rows that have the status set to called, that we're not changing anything that hasn't been touched yet. And then we go into the transcript data, which is, for now, I only have customer number, phone ID, timestamp, so I'll create that, and then the transcript as well. And you'll see this in the CRM right now, but this is pretty much the telemetry or the logging part of the automation, or the second half of it. And this is where most of the data is getting collected. So this is really useful when you're going back, sifting through hundreds of calls and seeing what actually worked and what doesn't, and so that you can double down on what works and really capitalize on your strengths, basically. So this is the CRM right here. We've got, as you can see, we've got 4 sort of tabs. One is lead list. You can see we already have 1 lead in here, which I've already called like a test lead. And we can also take a look at the report. Here on your left, you have your main KPIs, which is total lead, which is 1 right here, which is correct. And then we've also called that lead, so this should also be 1. It also has been qualified, so it'll be 1 as well. And then you can see your things like your average call duration, how many transcripts you could actually get from those calls. And then you also have some metrics as to how you're performing. So here right now we've got total leads to qualify, which is a 1-to-1 ratio, like 100%. Yeah, reason call ended, voicemail, and if we go here, and if I add in like, I don't know, if I add in user ended, we can actually see that the report changes to, yeah, so 50% user ended, 50% voicemail. So really, really cool stuff. And then we've got lead analysis. If we had more leads, we can actually see the drop off. So for example, how many leads we're actually losing through our funnel. So really, really interesting to see. This works best if you have a very, very high volume of leads and you don't know how to qualify them. This is just perfect in automation. Then we've got our transcript data. This is already from the template itself, and then we've got phone numbers here, and you can actually go ahead and in the phone number section you can add another phone number here, another phone number ID from VAPI, which you'll find over here. If you go into phone numbers, this is the one that I have. You'll find that this ID is the one that you should copy and then paste directly into your phone number ID section, and you can actually set them to different statuses. So if you don't want to use one, you can actually just decommission that and then just use 2 or just use 3 or whatever. So really, really flexible, really, really versatile automation when it comes to a high volume. So let's actually take a look at how this thing works. Now we're going to go ahead and fill out my contact us form. This is actually Liam's, but whatever. We're going to go for test user. Let's do, I don't know, test@gmail.com. This I'm actually going to put in my actual phone number because just for the test, so we have to blur that out. Now remember the qualification bit. This is where it gets interesting. If I choose 5K, I'm not going to be qualified for this. So if I choose anything else on the CRM, it's going to be listed as qualified, like a green light. Otherwise, it's not going to go through, and the Slack message is also not going to go through to the setters. Let's choose something else. Let's choose 5 to 10 for now. And the project description, let's say random automation. All right, now it should be in our CRM. If we go here, yep, there we go. Test user not called, and then the qualify is correct. So we have been qualified. And this not called should, because the automation is on. Okay, both automations are now on. All right, so you can see it has been recalled. And if we go ahead and into the transcripts, what? Yeah, okay. Now, as you can see, I just got this message. We've got a new prospect qualified, budget 5 to 10K, which is the one that we selected, and then test user at the Calendly link behind this. So usually, if I was a setter, I'd be reaching out to that person, or maybe giving them another call, shooting them another email, and just really like keeping them warm and active in the pipeline, so that we can assure the best lead quality at all times. All right. So yeah, that's how that automation works. Really, really game changing, this AI automation stuff. And yeah, I hope you got some value out of this. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me below, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. And I will be able to help you implement either this automation or pretty much any other AI automation into your business. And I'll see you inside.